Oh, here goes, and welcome to the 181st episode of Throwback Hoops. Woody V is in the house. Please follow the show on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcasts. And as always, I'm joined by my main man, Robert Clayton. What's going on, brother?
What's up, Woods? Great to be back. We're continuing this theme of having friends of the show and special guests on, so looking forward to this one tonight.
Likewise, Robbie, and I didn't even write an intro for these guys because they're not guests on our podcast. They're two of our best friends in the world, Robbie. We've collaborated on a number of projects with them. I've lost count. And it's not just for basketball, but we've even covered other sports such as cricket and AFL on their show, the Sport Blokes podcast. It's a very warm welcome to our good friends, Nathan Tozer and Stuart Chalmers. What's up, boys?
Always good to be here, guys. Number 5 for us, I believe.
Is it? Well, we did one each on our own as well, I recall.
Yeah,
that's true.
So, yeah, absolute pleasure to be on with you, lads. And, of course, to join the esteemed guests of Mookie and Maddie McQuaid, who you've had also assisting you with these season previews. And we shout out to Maddie as well. Obviously, he had some health concerns. It's out in the open. I'm not saying anything that isn't public. So we send him our love, and we hope he's fully 100% soon.
And Nathan, I'm sure he'd be great to hear that from you, man. So you know how we start the show, right? And is that a Hawks jersey? I see you got that. Is that even your jersey, man? Or did you borrow that off someone?
I've run out. I have to.
One of mine.
Yeah, so am I? You want me to?
Yeah, for sure, man. Do your thing.
So this one is one. Obviously, it's a player you've talked about before. It is the great. I don't know if my hair's covering the name there, but it's the great Dominique Wilkins. And basically, my favourite, for the most part, non-Spur of all time. But then, of course, he joined the Spurs late in his career as well, which was absolutely delightful and kind of began this trend of these players on other teams that I really liked joining the Spurs, like Michael Finley, Vernon Maxwell, Mario Elie, Robert Ory, of course, one of my favourite players of all time. That wasn't in order of appearance. But, yeah, Dominic started it all as far as that's concerned. And, hey, I might have been a Hawks fan if I hadn't fallen in love with those Spurs. Massive fan of that guy and best dunker of all time, in my opinion.
Hey, Nath, my favourite sportsman in the world. Any sports codes, any sportsman. So always great to see that beautiful looking jersey. Good stuff.
And he also left another one of your favourite Hawks off the list, Kevin Willis.
Oh, yes, absolutely. He was absolutely one of my favourites as well. So, which is all the more reason why I could have nearly been a Hawks fan because they obviously played together. Yeah,
he's still playing now, isn't he, Kevin Willis?
Just don't ask him to get anything off the top shelf.
True.
And Stewie, just before we move on to you, thank you for that, Nathan. And I'm sure Robbie is over the moon to see you wearing that jersey, as am I. How much did it mean to you, Robbie, to go and see the Dominique Wilkins statue?
Mate, I still just love how good that trip was. And remember how close we were to potentially meeting him as well, Woods? And we had that chat with Brian Oliver, and he's like, he goes, Dominic should be around there. Come with me. And he basically led us away. And in my mind, I was like, oh, my God, we're about to meet Dominique. And he took us around the corner. And he's like, he's not there. He's normally here at this time. Sorry about that, guys. Remember that? What a champion Brian Oliver was. But, yeah, what a thrill that was. And just so special to have, seen the Hawks game, seen the statue, all those sort of things. So trip we'll never forget.
Much better than the Dwayne Wade statue.
Yes, true.
Thanks, both. Now, Stuart.
Yeah,
I know what jersey you're wearing, man. I think anyway. So
it might not be who you think it is straight away. I don't have the Luke Longley jersey, but decided to go with probably one of the guys that had one of the most pronounced peaks in NBA history, and the old Joakim Noah. So. He's one of the weirdest careers I think I've seen of anyone. A guy who had, 2 All-Star games, 2013-14 Defensive Player of the Year, All-NBA first team that year. And then 2 seasons later, Pau Gasol joins the team and he averages like 4 and 9 a game, something like that. And a couple of years later, he's sort of bounced around from New York to Memphis to the Clippers, and then he's out of the league. So I guess my big question is, I'll throw to you, Robbie, what are your big memories of Joakim Noah?
I mean, I'll take away the shooting style because that shooting style, once you've seen that, it kind of hurts your eyes. But just the motor and the energy that guy played with, he was just unbelievable, right? He was a little bit almost undersized for his position with some of the guys that he played against, but he was just all heart, all effort there. He kind of summed up that Bulls team when they were at their peak there when, Derrick Rose was so athletic and, I can remember Taj Gibson running around and these sort of guys like that. But, he was great in those few years. But you're right, he quickly faded out, didn't he?
And I wouldn't be a sport bloke without mentioning, of course, the son of the great tennis player Yannick Noah.
Absolutely. He was an entertainer, wasn't he?
French Open champion, former world number 3. My mum used to talk about him because she loved his tennis back in the 80s and stuff.
He used to do that through the leg shots, right?
Yeah. Many years later, you see him turn up playing, and his college career as well. You might as well talk about that, Stewie, a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So 2-time national champion with Florida, 06-07. That was an incredible Florida team. They had a number of NBA players on that team. And he was first team All-SEC both years as well. So, yeah, an incredible run. And obviously, as we say, it wasn't one of those amazing sort of 12, 13-year careers, but that 5-year span right in the middle of his peak was one of the better ones you'll see. Really impressive.
Here's a question, boys. Is his former college teammate with the Gators, Al Horford, the second best Hawk after Dominique, or the second most important Hawk after Dominique in recent memory?
And I think Trey's got to be second best in recent memory, just with his accolades in the 7 years he's been there. But he's certainly in that conversation, isn't he, Al Horford? He had an amazing time, and it's still unsigned with Golden State rumoured to be getting. But if he wants to go back and finish with the Hawks, I'd gladly settle for that option.
It's a bit early for true or false. That'll be a bit later in the show.
Absolutely. Thanks, Stewie. Really appreciate that, man. And Robbie, NBL team, right? We are doing some NBL previews today, right? So what do you got for us?
I thought I'd rock one of someone from the team that 3 of the people on this show go for. Quick little fun fact as well. I was thinking about it. I thought, is there someone that has played for Atlanta, OKC, and San Antonio? And the answer is there's one player that's done it. So there's a few that are included with Seattle, but I don't know about you, Stu. I don't include those ones. So I can't even remember who they were, but they were a while ago. But there's one player. Funny thing is, I don't have his jersey. Woody actually has this guy's jersey for a completely different team. So I don't know whether that gives you a clue, Woods, but he played for Hawks, OKC, and San Antonio.
By the way, you count Seattle, you count the championships, so you caught it anyway.
Kind of. We might need to know the other teams. That might be the clue that gives it away.
Well, the clue is Woody's jersey of this guy, I believe, is a Detroit Pistons jersey.
Nazi Muhammad.
Correct.
Very nice.
Yeah.
The one guy that's played for our teams.
Well done. That's a good pull so quickly as well.
Yeah.
Nice work, Woods. All right, I'll stand up and show you who I'm rocking today.
And the jersey Robbie's wearing is Kristian Doolittle. He doesn't do a little. What does he do?
Does
nice
everything.
retro jersey.
Exactly.
I actually had to get this custom made last year because they did not sell his jerseys in the NBA store, which is ridiculous. So, Woods, you know what that means?
NBL store.
Sorry.
Obviously, they didn't sell them in the NBA store.
No, but you know what that means, Woods. It means you've got to pay basically an extra $40 to get it, custom printed and everything else like that. But I love this jersey. It was always one of my favourite designs, this one. So I've already said to Emily, I'm no longer obviously wearing Bryce Cotton jerseys to these Kings Wildcats games that I've worn for so many years. So this might be my go-to jersey, a Doolittle jersey there. So, not going to sort of talk about all his accolades and everything, but really looking forward to see how it'll go this year. I know Stu's going to do a card of the week. I might go straight on to there's a bit of a theme, Wood, so I might just go to my card of the week now. So,
okay.
So for those of you who might know, the new NBL Topps Chrome cards came out about 2 weeks ago. Really nice looking product this year. I've managed to get a few. So I thought I'd continue the Doolittle theme, and I've got a Kristian Doolittle Relic card there. So you see a bit of Relic there from a jersey. So really nice looking cards, these ones. I don't know if you know, Stu, they're those really thick cards as well. So you need the big sort of top loaders from to go in, but the auto cards and the Relic cards. So it's a Relic refractor card, it says on the back. So I think there's like one per box or something like that. So yeah, I thought I'd do the Doolittle theme tonight and sort of show that one in the jersey. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And a quick true or false. All NBL first team for Kristian Doolittle.
I've got him on there for next year, for this season. Sorry, when we do our predictions next week. So yeah,
there's just so many guys that could make that spot.
No, true or false?
Look, I mean, I would lean more towards true than false, purely because with Bryce leaving, it opens up a whole bunch of opportunities. And look, JLA will probably take away quite a few of his shots as well. We know he doesn't mind a shot himself, but look, it's the right situation, and certainly the time is right for him to take over.
Well, I'll channel my inner Tony Kornheiser here, Robbie. You'll appreciate this. I'll take the field. I'll say false. Nice. But I wouldn't be surprised at all. And obviously, as a Perth fan, I hope he is.
Wilbon wouldn't like that answer, mate. So,
yeah. All right. No, you both made good arguments there. Okay, so you guys, thanks for that, Robbie. Look, I mean, I said to Stewie and Robbie, look, one of you do card of the week. Pick whoever, either one of you. Obviously, you missed the memo, and you both want to do card of the week, isn't
Of course.
Isn't it? All right, so Stewie, what you got, man?
I'll do mine then before yours. So, look, one of the things I love about the card of the week is exactly the same thing I love about usually what you guys do with the jerseys, where it's a chance to showcase, obviously, some of the random stuff you have, and obviously your deep love and appreciation for all things basketball. So on that note, I've picked basically one of the most popular players of all time. The reason I've done it, though, is because I don't get to do this every week, so I wanted to showcase
Eric Snow.
It's not Eric Snow, no. So what I've decided to go for is you can't really see because of the glare, but it's a 2006 Bowman Chrome LeBron James refractor out of 50.
Nice.
This bad boy, I picked it up in a pack many moons ago, like probably the year it came out, and it sat in a shoebox for a while. I didn't realize how big a card it was. And I had a look during the 2020 sort of craze when everyone's in lockdown and the card prices went through the roof. One of these sold, I think it was a BGS 9.5. It sold for about just over $14,000 US.
Wow, that's a great pull to actually get that out of a pack, right? That's awesome.
It's a big card, yeah. So I was sort of tossing up between that and there's a Kevin Durant redemption out of 5 auto that I've got from his rookie season. So I thought, look, that's probably a slightly bigger card. I've been wanting to showcase that for a little while.
Love it.
And I'll tell you what, Stewie, yes, under the light, it's a bit hard to see. And so this week when I post on Twitter, on X, our jerseys and photos, please send me a photo of that and I'll share it with the audience, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right. Okay. Oh, my turn, right?
Yeah, finish this
Okay.
off.
No worries.
Woods is standing up, rocking the very nice looking Cairns Taipans jersey. I've got to say, they look very cool. Ooh, a bit of a Rob Edwards.
Yep.
They're great jerseys.
Always a fan of a Rob. They really are good, aren't they, those ones? Yeah. I like that better than the orange one, too. It sort of shows up the snakeskin more. And that nice-looking Denver Nuggets hat. I could see you wearing that at the beach, that hat, Woods.
For sure. It's one of those waterproof ones. But just quickly, Robert Martin Edwards, born in Detroit, Michigan, a 6'5" guard, went to college at Cleveland and Arizona before going undrafted in the 2020 NBA draft. He spent time in the G League, in Germany, and in Cairns, and more recently in China. He came here with a defensive-minded, a reputation for being a defensive-minded guard who really likes to get at it on the defensive end. But that's not really what we saw. I mean, he averaged 19.8 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 2.3 assists per game with Cairns last year. But, he was a high usage rate guy. He was a bit of a chucker. Let's be honest. He was a bit of a chucker last year. And for him to fit into a team, he's almost got to have a license to do whatever he wants, right? It's hard for him to fit into a system. That was my read on his season last year. What are your guys' thoughts?
I like the way he played. I got his auto card you would have seen on those photos today that arrived. So, I like the way he played there. And he was quite a big-bodied sort of guard, wasn't he? Sort of, he had that reputation as a defender, like you said, but was a bit more of a scorer there. Not quite sure where he's ended up, whether he's sort of joining the Japanese B League or he's playing somewhere in Europe or something. But, I think he had a pretty solid season here.
I just love the whole white line fever sort of thing. He was one of these guys where as soon as he got on that court, he was angry at everybody that was in front of him. I loved the way that he attacked the basket. And as you say, being quite stocky, he was able to absorb that contact and finish through it. Yeah, he took a lot of shots, but he also made a lot. And I tell you what, Cairns, I know they didn't have the greatest season last season, but it would have been a lot worse without him.
Yeah, he still shot 42% from the field, right? So on a lot of shot attempts. So a guy like that, though, he needs the ball in his hands, right? So it's a specific offense that he would fit into. But I mean, this year Cairns have done a lot of good things, and we're going to get into it later in the episode. So
how much do you love Cairns, Woods? Jeez, I tell you what, a couple of bad Sydney Kings seasons, I could see you switching sides.
For sure, man, for sure. Yeah, I love my Cairns Taipans. Really glad we're going to talk about them today. And going to be a competitor this season, right? So looking forward to watching them play. Okay, let's get into it, guys. You ready? Let's chop it up.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. So I want to start the show on a bit of a somber note today. Heartfelt tributes have been made in the wake of the death of Australian basketball player Tiana Mangakahia from cancer at the age of 30. Mangakahia was a former Opals and Sydney Flames player before going to the US in 2017 to play college basketball for Syracuse University. This is for all of those who don't know who she is. For some of our listeners who might not be aware, the Queenslander was first diagnosed with breast cancer in 2019 while playing for Syracuse. and having just been selected in the Opal's wider Olympic squad. She underwent chemotherapy, a double mastectomy, and reconstructive surgery to overcome the cancer before returning for a third basketball season in the US. Following this, Mangakahia played a stint in the WNBL with the Sydney Flames until another cancer diagnosis that led her into playing retirement and then into coaching. On Saturday, Mangakahia's family announced her passing, sharing the news on social media. We are heartbroken to share the passing of our beautiful Tiana Mangakahia as she left us on the 11th of 9th, 2025, surrounded by family, friends, and a lot of love. So my heartfelt thoughts go out to her and her family. Robbie, I know this is one that was some hard news for you to take, so maybe I'll throw over to you first.
Yeah, 100%. Look, she was so close with, people I'm, especially Laura Nicholson, who I'm close with, and also Vanessa Panousis, who, Facebook friend, all those sort of things. They were really close there. So it was so sad to hear. I think everyone in the basketball community thought that she had beaten it. She was back. She was doing some assistant coaching with Sutherland in the NBL 1 East last year. So, yeah, really bad news that it came back. Funerals this Friday. So, yeah, best wishes to, all her family and everything else like that. And she will be remembered. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace indeed. There's been calls for her jersey to be retired at Syracuse because she was the quickest to 1,000 points there. I think that would be a really lovely, fitting tribute. And yeah, unfortunately, it's a horrible thing that I think has probably touched all our lives in one way, shape or form. And I guess the silver lining we take out of these horrible things is if anyone watching or listening is experiencing doubt about their own health, don't be silly. Go and get checked out as quick as you can. And yeah, just again, really sad news. And from all accounts, I know people always say this when people pass, but I think it was really true. She was just a wonderful person and had a great love for basketball, and she'll be sorely, sorely missed. Taken far too young.
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't want to go too in depth with this, but like it's, my father is dealing with stage 4 lung cancer at the moment. Obviously, Woods, we know, what happened with your father recently as well, man. Like it's such a horrible thing, and it takes away so much of who that person was. But it didn't stop Tiana's passion and watching just how inspirational she was dealing with it. It is such a tragedy, and all we can hope is that she's truly at peace now.
Thanks, boys, for your thoughts. And just here, 11th of the 9th, 2024, my dad passed away. 11th of the 9th, 2025, Tiana passed away from the same disease, exactly 1 year to the day after each other. So I'll spare a thought for every year on that day as well. And everyone else, 11th of September is a tough day for us in history in general, right? So thanks, boys. All right, let's move on to some positive stuff now. Some spicy things going on in Adelaide, right? And basically what's going on at the moment is, the headlines in the papers the other day. Let me read you the headlines in the paper the other day, boys. Adelaide's Montrez Herald has hit back at Kendrick Davis in a heated war of words, adding spice to the 36ers clash with Sydney on October 11th. I'm just going to play this.
I don't like how I was treated in Adelaide. It's no secret. Like, I felt like I was treated bad. And when they wanted to treat me good, it was because of the mark I made. So, yeah, I got extra spice for that. I hate some things that went on in Adelaide. And DJ hates some things went on in Sydney.
So one thing I will say, the same way he's talking all that noise, there's a lot of stuff behind these doors, KD, that hasn't been put out there, brother. So just watch your tone, bro. That's all it is. We the ones that was with you in the locker room, bro, we know. But we ain't gonna bash you and shit like that. We could, but you feel me? Be a grown man, bro. It's over and done with. You made your decision. You left. You went to Sydney. Be happy you going to Sydney, bro. Stop being like a bitter ex and keep, they did me wrong. Nobody did KD wrong. And I'm here to first tell you that. Nobody did KD wrong. He did himself wrong.
Hey, guys, what the NBL needs is storylines like this, right? This is awesome. So maybe, Nate, I'll throw over to you, man. What's your thoughts?
I tend to probably side with Trez on this one. I mean, notwithstanding what you said about storylines and good banter. But I find the timing really odd, even if that's how you felt. I don't. You're dragging your new teammates into it, so it's not something I would do personally. I understand if a guy has a grudge and if a guy has issues, but I just found the timing really off. Yeah.
It's the world we live in. It's all about clicks. It's all about likes and views and all of that sort of stuff. And I guess that sort of interview and that sort of sound clip is really, really interesting. And I guess it gives insight into where KD's head's at. But At the same time, yeah, I'm 100% with Nath on this one. I think, as Trez said, you've got to be professional. You've got to let this stuff go. Say it out on the court. You get a chance to join an organisation like Sydney, play alongside a Matthew Dellavedova, a Xavier Cooks, a lot of these other great guys, be coached by Brian Goorjian, who, wherever his head is right now, he's still one of the greatest coaches to ever coach in the league.
Playing in a great stadium.
In a great great city.
Yeah.
And you get the chance to go against your former teammates who have, let's be honest, they've retooled and probably leveled up a little bit with Bryce Cotton. So he's now got a chance to prove that maybe he was the MVP last season and not Bryce. So say it on the court.
Robbie.
Well, firstly, Woods, I'm a little bit disappointed you didn't start off with the huge news this week that Atlanta Hawks legend Garrison Matthews is signing with the New York Knicks. But anyway, we can talk about that another day. But yeah, look, I tend to agree with what you guys
10
said.
minutes on the run
That's it. I wanted to talk about that. But look, I think, and Trez is great for a quote as well, isn't he? The way he sort of talks, he never holds back with his feelings, and it sort of seems quite natural when he speaks like that. But man, that first game when Sydney play in Adelaide is going to be exciting. Of course, obviously, Adelaide's first game playing in Perth will be extra spicy as well, but yeah, just give some more excitement to the league, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, me too. And guys, don't you think you spoke about Matthew Dellavedova, guys? A guy like Bergen, one of the senior vets, would they be pulling Kendrick aside and going, bro, put a sock in it, man? Like, should they be doing that?
Well, Bogan's not really exactly a role.
No, maybe not Bogan, but a guy like Delhi or a Sean Bruce. I mean, Sean Bruce isn't the guy either, but a guy like Delhi potentially should be pulling him aside, or Gorge even saying, mate, as you said, Stewie, let do the talking on the court, right?
Yeah. I mean, Sean Bruce doesn't maybe have the sort of the big name sort of stature, but he does have the tenure as well. He has been around the league, and he's been around the Sydney Kings organisation. How many years has he been a King now?
7, maybe? Yeah, 8? Yeah.
Not many guys get that level of tenure at any one club.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, cool. So, I mean, actually, it's not going to be we don't have to wait till when was it, October 11 for them to be together, because they're all going to be in Sydney this weekend for the Euro Cup thing, right? So
I think the 100 people in the crowd will enjoy that too.
Cool. All right. So I just want to talk a little bit about EuroBasket before we go into our season previews, guys. It was a real success. Everyone around the country was tuning in with the access to the games. We had Germany winning gold ahead of Turkey, and then we had Greece winning the bronze. I gave you guys some homework just to come back and bring up one thing about EuroBasket that stood out. Maybe it's a player, maybe it's the tournament as a whole, maybe it's a team. So who wants to kick things off?
I'll go first. I said to you guys, there was always going to be one sort of player that I spoke about. Woods, of course, who it's going to be. So one of my all-time favourite Hawks, Dennis Schroeder, DS17. Always love that guy. He is next level on the international stage. I mean, you hear people talk about, FIBA Paddy for Paddy Mills and how he's always just gone up a level when he puts on that Boomers jersey. But Dennis Schroeder, he is just another level beyond that. He puts on that German jersey there, and he is just clutch. He has had so many big moments for that German national team over the last few years. So that was great to see him, lead the team. Obviously, they won the World Cup a couple of years ago. They've now won the Euros there. So that was great for me to see him hit those big shots in the finals there. But I guess all in all for the tournament, isn't it great to see, teams like Greece and Finland get through to that?
Georgia as well.
Yeah, Georgia were good. And teams like, France and Spain and Serbia not even, getting through to the final 8 there. So crazy to see. I mean, obviously France had quite a few key pieces out, but it just shows you how tough it is in Europe now. I mean, a team like Finland, who would have had them finishing in the top 4? No one probably. So, yeah, but just a big shout out to Dennis Schroeder. I believe he's playing with Sacramento this season. This will be about his 20th NBA team that he's played with. So it's crazy to see that he bounces around. Sometimes I've heard people say if you are getting traded regularly, that's almost a bit of a credit to you because you've got that currency and that trade value to actually be traded there. But yeah, hopefully you can have a great season with Sacramento there. And what a great player he is for Germany.
Absolutely.
It's funny. We often talk about how so many guys, it's a situational thing. If you are in the right situation, that skill level that you have and the skill level that Schroeder clearly has, that can show through. I mean, he's clearly a class player, maybe a little bit undersized, maybe he doesn't play amazing defense at the best of times, but we know he can score the ball. And yeah, as you say, you put him in that situation where he's the guy, he can do some really great things. He's just such a great and underappreciated guy in the NBA.
Do you remember his rookie season, Woods? I'm messaging him all the time, like, get Jeff Teague out of that starting lineup, starting DS17, and then it eventually happened after a season or two. But yeah, no, he's fun. He's fun.
Absolutely, been a fan from those early days as well, Robbie. So yeah. All right, Stu.
Look, I'll go next. I actually wanted to, funnily enough, talk about one of the things that you mentioned, Robbie, and that was the Finnish team, and particularly Slim Jesus. Mika Murinen, this guy is so much fun to watch. Like, we've obviously seen Larry Markkinen and the way that he's evolved from being someone who, I mean, I know, Nath, you were never a huge fan of him in the college days. He always came across a little bit soft.
I thought he was a bit soft, but he's improved a lot, and he had a great tournament. Yeah.
And he's evolved now into an incredible NBA player. Murinen is one of these guys that is, again, we talked about Joakim Noah before. He's a huge energy guy. He has a really ready-made game as far as the NBA is concerned. Obviously, he's a high flyer. We saw some huge dunks, those real like back scratcher dunks. He's hitting threes over Jokic in the middle of the game. Just one of these guys who is absolutely fearless. And I don't know if you guys have been looking at any of the mock drafts, but I've seen him projected anywhere from as low as 19 up to, I saw one of them had him at like top 3. For that draft in a couple of years' time, which is really, really interesting. And I love the fact that he's got that real sort of NBA game. As I say, he can shoot the three at a decent level. He can finish, in traffic, dunk on people. Kind of feels like a slightly better version of someone like Matas Buzelis with Chicago. So, for Finland, who are the first Nordic country to ever make a semi-final in EuroBasket as well, what an incredible story. And as you said, Robbie, like, who would have ever picked them being that high up? Like, you just wouldn't have seen it coming.
So is that the 2027 draft class, is it, Stu?
Correct.
Yeah, that's crazy. The guy's still in school. That's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nuts. So, no, very cool. Nathan, you were going to talk about DS17.
I was going to talk about Dennis Schroeder, and I think there's been a lot of talk as to whether or not he should be a Hall of Famer. And I think based on his international resume, he absolutely will be a Hall of Famer. And we've seen guys like Manu Ginobili, obviously, and he had more NBA success, so that kind of helped his case as well. But we've seen a number of guys over the years who have been inducted to the Hall of Fame based on a lot of their international stuff. And I think Dennis is definitely going to get in largely based on that. And, all power to him. He's absolutely their equivalent of FIBA Paddy, isn't he, basically?
Yep.
But I'll pivot. So my kind of backup one was Giannis, and it was really interesting to see how he responded to winning the bronze. Obviously, we as Aussies know that it's a big deal. Obviously, gold is the best, but winning your first bronze is massive too. And I'm not afraid to admit that I did shed a tear that night watching it live at the Olympics a number of years ago. And it was just interesting to hear him say that it was his biggest achievement, even bigger than his MVP. And I don't have the direct quote, but it was something along the lines of, when you win the MVP, your family is happy, your parents are happy, maybe some of the fans are happy. When you win a medal, the entire nation is happy. So great. And look, he's looking pretty good too. So I think he might have a pretty big NBA season coming up too.
And just to sum up everything you guys said in a nutshell, it means so much to these guys to wear that, national jersey. It has a sense of pride, and you see that in EuroBasket, right? So, and the exposure, but we've spoken about it, this kind of exposure being available on Disney and on YouTube to watch for anyone in the country has been really good, right? So, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it then, shall we? So we've done all 8 teams, Robbie, right? 8 teams. We've only got 2 left, right? Cairns and Illawarra. And as Nathan alluded to early in the show, we've had, thanks to all the guests that have come on and helped us preview these teams.
And Woods, we should say as well, we're less than 24 hours away from tip-off.
Absolutely,
NBL 25-26, which we're all so pumped about. Yeah, this time tomorrow night, I think it'll be probably the fourth quarter of the Thursday night game. So bring it on.
All right, so let's start off with the Cairns Taipans. I'm going to throw over to Nathan to take us through the lineup for 25-26.
Now, you'll have to forgive me. I need to lean a little bit closer because of my failing eyesight. But they finished at the bottom of the table last season at 8-21. So the only way is up, obviously. Quite a lot of roster churn over the off-season. Taron Armstrong's perhaps the biggest one to go, given he was a local, but obviously they lost Edwards there as well. Good to see Gak get his Exhibit 10 deal with Washington, but he departs as well. So I guess I'll finish off the departures. Tanner Groves, and as I mentioned, Taron Armstrong and Deshaun Taylor. And then incoming, we've got Admiral Schofield, Andrew Andrews, Rain Smith, Jack McVeigh, which is huge, Jed Richardson, Lloyd McVeigh. It'll be interesting to see if he's more like Giannis's brother or Dominique's brother when it comes to siblings on teams. Marcus Lee and Mawat Mag, who will get more of an opportunity given the injury to... It's really sad to see, isn't it? The injury to Sam Wardenberg. At the beginning, heading into the offseason, it was unclear whether or not Adam Ford would return. In the end, he did sign on, and it's good that he returned, I think. I'm a big fan of Adam Ford, and I think he's a real players coach. Andrew Andrews is an interesting one, isn't he? So he kind of came in at the last minute for Hagen. From all accounts, Hagen was really an Adam Ford kind of guy, a real defensive beast. There was a lot of buzz about him. But I watched a bit of Andrew Andrews footage, and I think he could be a really good player too. So he was a Washington Huskies all Pac-12 first team as a senior. He played with the Lakers and Hornets in summer leagues and preseason respectively. He's been in the G League. He's had a really lengthy career in Europe. He's had stints in Spain, Greece, Lithuania, Latvia, Israel, 5 different Turkish teams. So I think he'll be a really good replacement for Hagen. Forty said, Andrew brings a decade of international basketball experience playing at the highest level throughout Europe, and he'll adapt to the NBL quickly. He's a pro's pro. We'll slot in with this team. We're excited to have him join the group. I think he can play, mate, and he can score. He seems to have range. He seems to be able to play D. So I think he'll be a really decent player for them. And then, of course, the other big import for them is Admiral Schofield. Now, if you look at his NBA stats, they're not very good, but he did play in 131 games with Washington and Orlando. And I think he'll be a really good player in the NBL. I think he's another Adam Ford kind of guy. He plays gritty defense. He can hit the three. He's very athletic. So I think they have a pretty good team on paper. And as I say, unfortunately, the big news is Wardenberg going out for such a long time, which is really going to hurt them. Thank goodness they have Lee as their third import to kind of back him up. I think it means that Galloway is going to get more time. He'll have a chance to prove himself. And they'll lean even more heavily on Jack McVeigh. And he's a guy who I think a lot of people were surprised ended up anywhere other than Tassie if he was going to come back to the NBL. But I think a lot of it was to do with fit. And from all accounts, a lot of it was to do with his discussion with Adam Ford, who really sold him on the team and sold him on the opportunity. So I've got a bit of a quote here. And I think I also need to mention that he's made it clear that he definitely still has NBA aspirations and he still thinks that this could be a springboard back into the NBA. So I quote, I think I'm good enough. This is about getting back to the NBA. I think I'm good enough. I got feedback from a bunch of GMs that have said, offensively, you're an NBA player. Your ability to play with poise, get 2 feet in the paint, shoot threes, you've got that side. He said, I was lucky and privileged enough to have some great conversations with a lot of teams, Europe, Japan, and the NBL. I sat down with 40 and was like, let me hear your vision. What does that entail? What does it look like? How will you use me? And 40 basically said, we'd love to play you at the 4 and we'd love to run some offense through you. And that really appealed to him because he said that previously he was used to being the guy that kind of didn't touch the ball until there was 6 seconds or less on the shot clock, often in the corner for a corner 3 or something like that. So he averaged about 17 points last time he was in the NBL. I think we can probably expect to average around a similar amount. He's going to be really important to that team. Is he $1 million man? Some people say yes, some people say no. I think maybe he won't have the amazing stats that some other players have, but I think he's just such a good chemistry guy. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Marcus Lee said that the minute he walks in the room, everyone is just lifted. Everyone's lifted by 10%. Everyone's in a better mood. Everyone wants to play harder. Everyone wants to compete. So he's a really great player to have on the team. Great to have him back in the NBL. I do think he will hopefully get another gig in the NBA. And then I guess the other guy I wanted to highlight was Rain Smith. So he's come out of college, bit of a sharpshooter. I think they'll have some pretty good range on their team, some good three-point shooting players. So you can understand why they thought they were a championship contending team heading into the season. But I think sadly, because of the Wardenberg injury, I'm not convinced that they can climb that high. I probably have them around middle of the table, 5, 6, kind of in that play-in kind of range. I don't know what you guys think.
Boys, I'll throw to you.
Yeah, look, guys, I think what is understated is that Hagens and Andrews thing that you spoke about, Nathan, right? Because a lot of these guys have had their point guard coming there for preseason. Even we saw Mason Jones, even get a game, get some reps before the season started. That is going to help. And having Wardenberg injured on the eve of the season, Marcus Lee now into a starting role, right? That's going to impact this team, right? Everyone had them as top 4, top 6, as you said, Nathan. Now that has been brought into question now. Robbie, what kind of leadership role will Admiral Schofield have on this team? In addition to Jack McVeigh, this guy brings a ton of NBA experience. You've heard him in interviews, right? He just seemed like he's going to be that guy. He's going to be a leader on and off the court for this team, right?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see him. He showed some glimpses in the Blitz as well, didn't he? Look, I think he's going to come here. He's that seasoned sort of pro now that's had his time in the NBA. He's going to want to come in and, lead this team. I'm sure he's got aspirations of getting back to the NBA, the same as my boy Jack McVeigh there as well. So I think he's going to play a huge part. And maybe just a few other thoughts from me. I mean, look, Nath mentioned they finished last with that 8-21 record. I really like the roster they've put together. I mean, we've got a Boomer star, a young gun out of college, and a great trio of imports. So I really think the sky's the limit for this team. They could possibly shoot up a minimum 5 places on the ladder, I think. One thing I thought last year, 8-21, I do think they were overmatched on the court quite a bit last year. And look, maybe controversial, but in my humble opinion, I think they were outcoached a little bit in the season as well. I maybe wasn't as high on Adam Ford as a few other people were. Let's hope he's returned this year and maybe regained his coaching passion and his mojo. And I think, why would you not with some of those players you've got on that team there? But yeah, Admiral Schofield's going to be great. Like Nath mentioned as well, having Wardenberg go out, it's a really big loss, isn't it? He was playing overseas in Puerto Rico on the off season. He was poised for a really good season there. And I'm not sure of the time frames. I know there's a couple of different reports, but by all accounts, he's going to be out quite a while. So maybe I'll ask you, Stu, what your thoughts are on this team, if you like their recruiting they've done and what we should sort of think of this Taipans team.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things. Firstly, like as you're sort of touching on, if you look at the roster construction last season, we know what we got from Edwards, but as an import trio, the Taipans trio was pretty average. Like it wasn't a great fit a lot of the time. You'd have, Bradshaw would have a decent game 1 out of every 3 or 4. Just, I don't know. I just feel like really they weren't a great fit together in those teams. Whereas now you look at someone like Admiral Schofield. I mean, I've heard he has aspirations to be Defensive Player of the Year. He's probably got a decent chance of that, wouldn't you say? Like, got to be right up there. And then obviously, yeah, as we've all mentioned, like bringing in Jack McVeigh, obviously having Wardenberg come back for that continuity as well. On paper, if everyone's fit, it looks great. Even someone like Alex Higgins-Titcher, I mean, he has that sort of NBA Summer League experience now, so he's going to come back with a few extra strings to his bow now. I'm really excited to see Rain Smith, seeing some of the highlight reels from him in college, the quick release that he has. He's able to get that shot off in a fraction of a second. If I remember correctly, it kind of had a little bit of a Jalen Rose sort of feel to it in terms of the release, but it's so quick. I think he's actually a guy who could have a really, really good season for these guys. I think
future boomer
potentially. Yeah, you'd have to think so. I do still think they'll probably finish outside the play, and I actually have them around 7th at the moment. But if you go to a quote that Damon Lowry had, he basically said, whoever has the wooden spoon this year will be the most talented wooden spoon ever. It's just, we say it every year. This is the most talented, most even season we've ever seen. And, if they finish 4th or if they finish 10th, I wouldn't be shocked.
Hey, boys, obviously with Wardenberg out and Marcus Lee's going to take a lot of responsibility in the middle there, who's the backup big there? Because you can't play McVeigh or Galloway at the big there.
Galloway.
I mean, could they possibly play Higgins-Titcher as a really undersized 5 there and just try and make other teams to make lineup changes? Is that what you'd be thinking, Woods, in that?
That's what I'd be thinking, right?
Yeah.
Or they've got to, I mean, they don't really have a choice to cover that. It's 2 months. They've got to get. They might
be okay against the Kings, right? Where they're like a side.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to go out and get an injury replacement player here, right? We saw the Kings sign someone. There's a few guys out there in the NBL one that they can go for. Yeah. Look, Admiral Schofield, a player comp that I want to give you is Jay Crowder, right? This guy is big-bodied. He likes to, bully down low. He can play with his back to the basket. He can face up. He can stretch the floor. And he's a commanding figure on the court. I'd really see comparisons there with Admiral Schofield and Jay Crowder. So That's one thing I've noticed. And I've watched a lot of the Blitz, right? And a guy that is going to flying under the radar is Cody Statman, right? I don't know if you guys watched any of it or saw some of the numbers he put up in the Blitz. This guy's game, he's been DP on a couple of teams. He's finally got the opportunity to be the backup there to Rain Smith. And I've got it for most improved player, man. I'm gonna next week we're doing this.
Statman was huge in NBL 1 last year, so he could definitely be handy. Absolutely, yeah. And also Andrew Andrews, what were his parents thinking? Come on.
There's a story behind it. There's a story behind it. Nate, tell him.
What's the story?
I don't have the story, but before you get there, I forgot to mention this. So I did a bit of research on, obviously, in the entertainment world, we've had Chris Christopherson, but I looked up players with kind of double names in the sport world. In college football, we had a Samoa. In cricket, we had a Neville. I don't know if that rings a bell, Woody. In soccer, we had a Wolfgang Wolf. In college basketball, we had a Longa, and to a lesser extent, God Sham God, and there was another one I forgot.
Well, there's quite a lot. If you have guys that have come across from Africa, like the most prominent one I can remember is a guy named Dwayne. But there'd be a few of them out there.
Yeah, I don't know the story, Woods. What's the story?
To answer your question, Andrews was born as Andrew Ray, W-R-A-Y, in Portland, Oregon, right? When his parents split at the age of 4, he was adopted by his aunt, who gave him her maiden name, Andrews.
Wow,
so
it wasn't actually planned at birth. We'll let him off, I think, based on that, right? Yeah.
Right? So
interesting. Yeah.
That's it. Okay, I was doing some
research. Speaking of names, Woods,
yep.
A shout out to Body Nodge on the roundtable recently, saying that he hopes that they make
to skip
Admiral Schofield the captain, because then he'd be Captain Admiral.
That was awesome, man. Yeah. Shout out, Body. You're the man.
And we also forgot Majuk as well.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
How do we forget him?
Yeah. And I need to apologise. I think I might have said Mog rather than Mag, so I apologise if I got that wrong.
Majuk. Has he been picked up by Cairns, has he?
No, just we're talking about
the double names. Okay, cool. Yeah. Actually, he wouldn't be a bad guy for Cairns to go get, right? Yeah, he wouldn't be a bad guy to go get. Okay, let's just quickly go fantasy stud. Let's go, Robbie.
I'll probably have to say McVeigh for this one, especially like we're saying, if they do want to run a little bit of offense through him there as well, he might get some assist numbers. I think he's a pretty underrated rebounder. He's such an active guy there, so I think he'll put up some numbers there. And if we're looking for a sleeper, I think you've got to go to the stat man, right? Cody Statman. Yep. I think he could be someone that, gets some minutes there. They've got Rain Smith penciled in as a starter. Maybe that changes depending on how his rookie season goes. But yeah, they'd be the two I'd be thinking there.
Good advice, Robbie.
What about Marcus Lee for a sleeper?
Good field goal percentage. We know that, right?
Because he'll get good field goal percentage. You think he'll get some rebounds and some blocks. He'll be playing bigger minutes, obviously. So certainly maybe in the earlier stages of the season might be a decent sort of pickup at a decent number.
And the defensive stats might be why Schofield could be a good look too, I think.
Yeah. Definitely. All right, predictions. Oh yeah, I agree with you on the fantasy stuff, right? I think, just quickly with Marcus Lee, you're obviously at center. You'll get him cheap. He's going to play large minutes. Logical choice, Stewie, right? And then Statman as a sleeper. Can't go beyond that. He's going to have a breakout year, I think. All right, so let's go to our predictions there. Let's start with you, Nate. Where you got him coming?
Yeah, sorry, I jumped the gun on that one when I went through everything. I reckon around middle of the table. And possibly a little bit lower, because I think Wardenberg could be out for as long as at least 2 months. So, yeah, I think which is a real shame. It just feels like the Taipans just can't get a trick, can they?
They need to change their name because they're always snake bitten with injuries.
Yeah, they like that circle where it's biting its own tail. Yeah. Mid of the range, I reckon, maybe as low as 7th.
I've got him at 7th.
Yep.
I'll maybe fence it a little bit. I probably think best case scenario for him is around 4th, and worst case is around that 7th spot. I think even if the injuries do, bite them a little bit and continue to happen, I still think they're better than Southeast, Brisbane, New Zealand, those sort of teams. So yeah, anywhere between 4 and 7 for me, but certainly a massive improvement on last season. What about you, Woods?
Look, Andrew Andrews is going to be a big factor on how they perform, right? He's come in at the point guard position. He put up similar stats to Parker Jackson Cut, right, in Israel. I was reading today somewhere. So let's see how he performs. If he can really, take this team on his back, be a leader, they could be a 6th place. But I've got him as 7th, Stewie. I think that's about right, Yeah. All right. Thanks, Nate. Let me move on.
And last Stewie, one. Last preview.
Lucky last.
And just hot off the press, Stewie, Jonah Antonio has been signed as an injury replacement player for this team. So just before you go into it, just adding that footnote. And yeah, over to you.
Beautiful. So, yeah, we've gone from the cellar dwellers last season to the minor premiers, 20-9, an incredible season. Obviously, I wouldn't say rolled through the playoffs. Obviously, a tough final series to beat Melbourne United. Incredible effort from them, though. And obviously, a little bit of turnover, as you can see here. So, great to see the return of Harry Froling. Obviously, had that horrible head injury a couple of years back. So it's nice to see him back out on the floor. We've got Jackson Ball, Jaquari McLaughlin, JaVale McGee. So we're going to have our own little Shackton a full. I'm really excited about that. Johnny Narkle is one I think a lot of people are really excited as well, coming in from that NBL 1. And Jonah Bolden, after what was probably a pretty subpar season with the New Zealand Breakers in a system that really didn't fit him that well. So obviously quite exciting to see a lot of those names. Some big departures as well, though. Obviously, Trey Kell is the biggest one out of those. And Hyun Jong Lee as well. Obviously, very, very underappreciated. Well, not underappreciated, but certainly flew under the radar a little bit as far as his impact on that season. Incredible shooter. A lot bigger than people kind of expected as well. And I think he was a huge part of that championship. So, yeah, definitely a few things you can focus on. I mean, the depth chart looks so impressive. If you look at even just the backup guys, having Harry Froling, Peatling, Blanchfield, these are like the only spot that kind of looks a little bit weak maybe is the shooting guard in terms of the backups. You've got 2 DPs there, but I think Narkle will be absolutely fine. But then all of that experience around him with Blanchfield and Peatling, Froling's played a few years in there as well. So they do have that really good depth. And I think we have to start off, obviously, with the 2 big pickups. JaVale McGee, can you guys think of anyone between Simon Dwight and him in terms of just that shot blocking ability and the shot changing ability? Can you think of anyone else?
I mean, Bogut came here at the end, right? You could.
But Bogut never moved the way that McGee moved either, did he?
Not that athleticism, or, the ability to, as you said, affect so many shots, right? Yeah.
Like 3.3 blocks a game for his career, Simon Dwight. I could honestly see McGee getting those numbers in 20 to 25 minutes a game. Like a guy that can still easily get above the top of the square. He's going to obviously have that stupidly long wingspan that we're not used to seeing down under. And there's going to be some guys that really get caught out trying to put floaters up over the top of him, and he'll go to the top of the square and grab it. I'm so excited. We know he's going to get in foul trouble most games. It's just the nature of the beast. But if he can kind of split those minutes with Froling, I think there's every chance that the Hawks are well and truly likely to be back in there. Obviously, it depends on health, but I can see them finishing right back up, near the top where they were.
And he's not ancient either. He's still got fuel in the tank.
He does.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, funnily enough, one of the biggest beneficiaries of McGee's presence will probably be a Jonah Bolden. As soon as you dump that ball into McGee, everyone's going to collapse on him. The spacing kind of goes from there. You've got Bolden probably getting a lot of wide open looks that he maybe wasn't getting. And, if he can make it a decent percentage and kind of shoot like we know he can, he could be on for a really, really big year. So I love that. Obviously, Dave O'Hickey kind of getting the reins a little bit more is very exciting. Tyler Harvey coming back, getting that continuity. I don't know. I really love the makeup of the team. So I guess, I'll throw to you, Robbie. What do you make of the boys down the M1 from you?
Yeah, looking forward to it. I mean, I got to see, I think, 5 of these guys on this roster firsthand last year in the NBL 1 East. And big shout out to Bawali Bales, who essentially was signed a few days ago for that last roster spot there. And I think everyone, agrees he probably deserves that spot there. But yeah, look, I like the team. You mentioned the outs there, Stu. And look, obviously they are some big outs, aren't they? I totally agree with what you said about HJ Lee. I went to that game last year when they beat the Wildcats by about 500, and he was such a fan favourite, HJ Lee. The crowd loved that guy. And, losing Albrick and Days is pretty big, but, probably their best player on a whole last year was Trey Kell. So he's a big out there. And Samson Froling being out for the first few months is pretty big. I think they did address that with the really good signings of big men in McGee, Jonah Bolden, and, of course, Samson's brother Harry there. To me, the roster seems a tiny bit weaker to me than last season, but saying that, I still think they're a really tough team to beat. What's your thoughts on them, Nath?
Yeah, I'd probably tend to agree that the Samson Froling injury was really heartbreaking, but they've done very well to cover for it, and they have a really decent roster.
Do we need to start calling him Harrison Froling?
We don't know if it's
We don't know, that's true. Anyway, sorry, my bad.
Maybe. The other thing, of course, to keep in mind is I believe Harvey could be naturalised soon too. So that's big news, and that could allow them to make their roster even better. So I think they'll be right up there. I probably would have them in the top 4. I think. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun again, Woods. Apologies.
That's all right.
But I think your assessment's probably right there, Robbie. There's maybe a tiny step down in some ways, but McGee I think has a lot to prove. I think he believes he's a much better offensive player than he was ever allowed to kind of showcase in the NBA. And so I think he's very keen to get some touches down low and to score some points. So I'm very, very interested to see his impact on the league. Actually, at the offensive end. Everyone talks about the defensive end. I'm very interested to see how he goes offensively.
I mean, he should be catching 3 or 4 lobs a game, let's be honest. Like, just because of the height and the athleticism.
Yeah, ideally, yeah.
So, yeah, definitely going to be fun.
And as you said also, I think Bale's, by all accounts, has matured. He's improved. He could be a real breakout potential star too. So that's a really good player.
I mean, look, he had a summer league spot with New York, New York Knicks in the offseason. They don't give out those spots willy-nilly to players that, haven't sort of earned those, tryouts there. So I think he'll be coming in. Will he be able to handle that backup role? I think maybe he might move ahead of young McDowell White for that, backup spot there. But he will certainly get minutes and be handy, I'd say. What are your thoughts on that, Woods? You a big fan of Bawali still, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, everyone deserves a second chance. Obviously, by all reports, he comes with a new attitude and a good mindset, right? And yeah, as you said, he's earned this opportunity. So fair play to him. He's going to be third on that rotation. But look, bringing back the nucleus of a lot of the guys that won the championship last year, Wani Swaka Labullock, a big part of their championship run on the defensive end. He's always taken the assignment of the best offensive player on the other team. We forget about how important he is to their success. But one thing I want to point out to you guys, Will Hickey, right? He's had a great ascension, right? From being a development player, we've talked about him for years, Robbie, to becoming MVP of the finals basically last year, right? Now he's been thrust into a role where he's going to be the starting point guard, right? He's not backing up Trey Kell, playing that combo guard, coming in wreaking havoc off the bench, or playing the 2 and the 1 occasionally. He's going to be that starting point guard. Tatum has said he's my guy. This is a lot for him, right? So this is a real test to see, can he be a starting point guard on a championship caliber team in the NBL? That's my question to you guys. Right?
It is a big question, right? I think he's up for the challenge. We saw him looking pretty good for the Boomers in that FIBA or the Asia Cup as well there. So I think it's good that he's sort of got that news and doesn't have the thing hang over his head, is the import going to suddenly, take that starting position. So I think you'll be fine. I want to throw a question back at you though, Woods. One of your former Sydney Kings there, Jonah Bolden, we haven't mentioned him much. A little bit underwhelming last season with New Zealand, right? But he's someone that I think could be pretty handy for him this year. What are your thoughts on him?
Definitely. And I think, look, there was talks of him going over to Japan and playing, but he decided to stay in Australia and in New South Wales, where he's from. I think you talked about Lachlan Olbrich being going to the NBA, and that's a hole that needs to be filled. If Bolden can come in and play a similar type of role to what Lachlan Olbrich did last year, stretch the floor a little bit more, he's a different player, right? But, play that sort of role. He can. He doesn't have to go outside of that box, right? Knock down threes, rebound. He's a great passer, So I think Tatum will be able to utilize that skill set well. And you got to be motivated playing for this team under Coach Tatum, right? So if anything's going to light a fire under him, playing for this Hawks team will. Correct?
True. Great coach. Really good coach.
And I think that's a really key point, because in a season where the parity is insane, coaching could be the difference between making the playoffs and not making the playoffs, and it can be the difference between winning the championship and not winning the championship. So to have one of those really great coaches is massive. It's massive.
I mean, it's always been brought into question. Bolden retired, did all this crypto thing. Does he really enjoy playing? Does he want to be out there, right? This is an environment that's going to be conducive to him enjoying the game. So I really hope to see some success for him this season, right? All right, let's go on. We've got Nathan's prediction, top 4. Stewie?
Yeah, I think second or third.
Okay. Robbie?
I'm going to say between 3rd and 5th, around that sort of mark there. So maybe not quite in that top 2, but maybe literally a game or so behind those ones. And we know they could do a lot of damage once the playoffs rolls around, because those seedings kind of don't really matter at the end of the day.
Well, I've got Adelaide, Melbourne, and Perth definitely ahead of them, right? So I'm going to go 4th or 5th, right? Like I've got to break it down, but I'm going to say somewhere between 4, 5, and 6, right? Yeah. All right, fantasy stud. Let's go with that. Nath.
This is tricky, isn't it? This might be a team to maybe stay away as far as fantasy is concerned, I feel like. I think there's a couple of guys that could go either way. If I was constructing a roster, it wouldn't be the first team I'd be looking at, I'll be honest. Again, though, if McGee is good offensively, if he's getting 3 or 4 blocks a game, McGee could be a good one.
Stewie, give us a sleeper.
Does Dave O'Hickey count as a sleeper? I feel like you remember that really good year that Will McDowell-White had, where he was sort of averaging, 15, 7, and 7. Like I almost feel like he's maybe not going to average that many points, but I feel like he's going to get a ton of assists a game. He's going to pick up some steals. I feel like he could be one of those guys. I don't know if you'd really count him as a sleeper.
I think you would. All the great point guards you've got in this league, someone will go for a PJC or a Tyson Walker or a Kendrick Davis, and he might just get forgotten about because everyone's going to go pick up the big names. So yes, I would agree with you, right? Yeah.
And look, I totally agree with what Nath said as well. You look at that team there, and there's a lot of people that can maybe take stats away from each other there. So maybe you would steer clear of them. Look, maybe someone like McLaughlin. He showed some pretty good form in that blitz, right? He might not be that expensive compared. We know he's not going to be a starter there, so his price might not be as high as some of those other imports. So maybe he's one to watch.
Guys, he's one guy that we need to. No one's talking about him, right? He came, tried out in the blitz. Coach Tatum didn't bring him out here for no reason, right? He's had NBA experience. He's a big body. I'm interested to see what he can offer. So yeah, definitely for a sleeper. And I think JaVale McGee, to your point, Nathan, what would you say? He's going to play 20 minutes and get more than 3.3 blocks a game, beat Simon Dwight. You got to get him in there, right? Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. All right. Let's. Thanks for your research, your time, and putting your effort into that.
Yeah, good were they, Woods.
Stewie and Nate were amazing, man. It was just really good, really in depth. You enjoy that, boys?
We go all right. I mean, we do our thing, but yeah, obviously, we all love this sport. This is what we enjoy. It's what we get out of bed for.
I'll be honest, this season snuck up on me. I've been a little bit football focused. I'm wearing my Colts hat because we're actually going all right.
Notice that. Shout out to Daniel Jones. Yeah.
Yes, Indianapolis Jones, they're calling him. But I'm beginning to get really excited about both the NBL and then the NBA. I'm ready for basketball to come. I can't believe it's less than 24 hours away. Oh, bring it
up. So without further ado, let's get into it then. Let's do a quick preview of the round. Let's see if that's come up there in front of you. You guys got that there?
Yep.
All right. Maybe I'll start with tomorrow's game with you, Robbie. Tassie and Melbourne United.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. Obviously, it's Milton Doyle's first game against his old team there. And you asked today what sort of reception we'll get there, Woods. I think he's going to get a great reception playing there. I think that Tassie crowd is going to be pretty appreciative of what he achieved in his time with the Jack Jumpers. But that's a great way to start the season. Bit of a rivalry between these two teams. There's no doubt about that. So, maybe that news that we heard literally hours before recording, Chris Golding is going to miss the first couple of rounds. Maybe that sways the momentum through to Tasmania. I love their import trio, so I'm going to say the Jack Jumpers get an entertaining win in that first game.
Thanks, Robbie. And on Friday night, Stewie, New Zealand versus Brisbane.
I'm going to take Brisbane actually in a slight upset. I struggle to trust a team with Ruben Tarangi and Isaiah Liafa in it. Like, I worry a little bit about a backcourt of Parker Jackson Cartwright and Isaiah Brockinson. Not many shots for anyone else in that team, so. Mind you, saying that Javon Freeman Liberty worries me a bit as well. I saw some of the Summer League stuff. He doesn't mind a shot.
He's a chucker.
He's a chucker.
He's a chucker for sure. Right.
I don't mind the nucleus of Alex Dukas, Jalen Adams, Casey Prather, Harrison. I think they're gonna win this one. I've got Brisbane in a close one.
Hey, for you boys in Perth, that's a terrible tip-off time, isn't it? 3:30 on a Friday afternoon.
Oh, well, that's one rough to be watching on delay.
Yeah.
That's shame there's not a double header actually on Friday.
It's true.
Boys, I heard that Stu Lash is at Hungry Jack's right now, drawing up his plays for Friday night on the back of a napkin while eating a free cheeseburger. Is that true? No, man. I mean, that's the one concern, right? About him, how he's gonna fare as a head coach. So let's see how that plays out. Okay, Southeast, Melbourne, Phoenix versus Cairns. Nate.
Yeah. So, it's interesting. This could go either way.
It's in Melbourne. Keep in mind.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I probably would. But as you know, in my opinion, you always want to start on the road first game because you want to bank home wins, and it's less damaging if you lose your first one on the road. So there's nothing worse than losing a home game in round one. But I will pick the Phoenix by a nose, I think. Yeah. Particularly with the Wardenberg stuff.
And while we're speaking about Phoenix, I said on the show last week the import that I thought would likely be cut first would be Blindberg, and a few days later he was cut. Not like that was a huge surprise after some of his antics in the preseason, Robbie.
Yeah, look, it was one of those ones that it was a surprise, but it wasn't a surprise. Literally days away from their first game there. I mean, they're clearly going to be playing without that third import spot in that game there, and they need to find someone quick, smart, because we know how close the league's going to be this year. They can't afford to be dropping games. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting one on Saturday. As I said, it's a bit of a shame there's not a double header on Friday. And Woods round one, and we're not seeing 3 teams play. Pretty ridiculous if you ask me. But
we know why.
We know why. But yeah, look, maybe Cairns to get that first up win in Melbourne.
Yep, cool. Thanks, Robbie. Let's move on to the next one then. Perth versus Tassie. I mean, you boys, talk to me, man. Game 1 of the season, RAC Arena. How you all feel about it?
Well, this is upset watch because Tassie would have already played a game, so they'll be a bit more battle tested. So I'm a bit worried about this one.
Yeah.
But I think we'll be good.
They're playing 2 days earlier in Tasmania. They've got to fly from one side of the country to the other. They'll be tired. I think Perth will be pretty keen to show that we can play without Bryce Cotton as well. I think Perth will be fine.
Why are they playing on a Saturday night, not that traditional Friday night slot? Is that something that's changing?
I wonder if perhaps the AFL prelim finals might be playing into things a little bit.
Yeah, true. Actually, that won't interfere with those, will it, with that time? Yeah, true. Good call.
All right. And Joe Lualichul, really excited to watch him make his official debut for the Wildcats as well. All right, last game, Melbourne versus New Zealand. Second game of a back-to-back for Melbourne at home. Their first home game at JCA. Stewie, you'd think they'd get the job done against the Breakers, yes?
I was going to say, don't throw it at me because all the New Zealand fans are going to hate me because I'm picking against them in both. Yeah, look, a flight across from New Zealand, 2-day turnaround, or pretty much a 2-day turnaround, give or take. It's going to be tough for the Breakers. It really is. I think Melbourne, even without CG43, will be fine.
Hey, Woods, are you able to confirm how many games each team's playing? I believe it's gone up again, right?
Yeah,
so it was 28,
33.
Something, yeah.
So it was 28 2 years ago, 29 last year, I believe, and it's now 33. So interesting. They're slowly creeping up, aren't they?
Speaking of games, it's interesting. This is the rookie round, and I don't know if you saw the tweet that the NBL put out. It had a picture of, I think it was Chris Golding, Delhi, and Bryce, who have combined more than 600 games experience. Why you would have rookie round in round one is absolutely beyond me. It should be star round in round one.
How did they leave out Jesse Wagstaff on that graphic as well?
Tony Ronaldson.
Yeah.
Or even like old faces, new places. There's any number of themes I would have picked. Rookie round is great. I think it's a good thing, but not for round one. That's great.
And if you're going to have a rookie round, at least have a rookie of the year,
picture.
Right? Yeah. No, a rookie of the year award, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, very good.
Because is Sam Froling going to be part of the rookie?
Froling Next Generation Award winner. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, you know what we all think of that award. All right, shall we do some true or false, and then Stu, you got a pack for us, yeah?
I do indeed.
All right, thanks for all your thoughts, guys. Really excited for tomorrow for everything to kick off. What an exciting time of the year.
Hey, Woods, just quickly, that hat's giving me like Woody. White men can't jump vibe.
Yeah, sick, man, sick. Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I am Woody, right? So
True.
Billy Hoyle. Yeah.
All right. Okay. First one: the Orlando Magic's acquisition of Desmond Bane has somewhat flown under the radar. He will have a real impact in Orlando this season.
True.
Massively true. Yep. I'll address the first part about it being under the radar. I mean, it happened between games 4 and 5 of the NBA Finals. Like, it happened while the finals were still on. So I think that's why it flew under the radar. It also happened in an off-season where you had Cooper Flagg coming out as this, we say generational superstar way too often, but you also had Kevin Durant changing teams and a number of other guys. It's very easy to forget about that acquisition. So I think that definitely true. And also, if you look at obviously the season Orlando had last year, they were easily the worst three-point shooting team in the league. They're about 1.7% behind Washington for last. Bane's a career 41% shooter from deep. He is a guy that will give Paolo Banchero that spacing that he needs. And he's also a guy you can throw the ball to in a half-court offense, which completely fell apart from them late in the season and into the playoffs. So I think he's going to be massive for them.
I'll piggyback off that. Two things. One, he was used to being the man on occasion because Ja Morant's missed a lot of time in the last couple of years. So he has been the man on several occasions, and there's no reason to believe he won't on occasion in Orlando too. And the other thing is that he's a two-way player. He plays both ends of the court. Yep. So I really like this acquisition, and I think that Orlando I reckon they've pretty much put all their chips into the middle of the table. This is the team they're going to be riding with for the next few years, and they'll just tinker around the edges. So I think he kind of has to have an impact. Otherwise, that trade will be considered a failure. I don't think it will be considered a failure, though. I think he will be a very good player for them, and I think they could have very easily top 4 aspirations in the East, especially given teams like Boston are snake bit with injury and whatnot. So I think Orlando will have a pretty good year.
Yeah, I think true. I definitely agree with the boys. Definitely agree with what Super Nintendo Chalmers said as well. That trade did happen a long time ago, so I think it did generate that buzz at the time, but it's kind of been forgotten about a little bit. But no doubt a great pick up there. And looking forward to see Orlando. They're definitely a team that you probably would not be wanting to play in a playoff series this year.
Great thoughts, boys. And what they've addressed in the offseason, to your point, Nathan, is they've got some shooting out there, right? And so that's going to be important for them, right? So, yeah, really excited to see them. I think you're right. They're going to be competitive this year. Okay, Stewie, I'll start off with you here. The Oklahoma City Thunder will be back-to-back NBA champions.
Oh, this pains me. This pains me because I think I'm leaning more towards false. It's one of these things where we've seen it in the last 7 years. It is so difficult to go back-to-back in this generation. When was the last one? Golden State.
17-18. I looked it up before.
So it's been a while. I mean, look, the big positives, obviously, returning every single quality key player. Like we're returning, I think I read 95% of the regular season minutes that were played by OKC are returning this year, 99% of the playoff minutes. So we're getting that real continuity. We really only lose Dylan Jones. Nikola Topic will come in and play his first season, coming back off that injury as well. But also Denver got better, Houston got better. There's a number of teams that really did get better. Even the Clippers got better as well. So it's one of these ones where it's so tough to go back-to-back. We've got the team to do it. We've got the youth and the hunger and the enthusiasm. So we definitely would probably go in as favorites or close to favorites if we're not. Oh, God, it's hard to go back-to-back. I will say false. I'm going to use the power of negative thinking to try and wish it into reality.
I'm going to say false as well. And look, some great points you raised there, Stu, with bringing back, basically every key guy there. You just wonder whether sometimes, you lose that tiny bit of extra motivation after winning. You just announce everywhere you go as being a championship winning player, X name sort of thing. So maybe you lose a little bit of motivation there, but they're a young, team and they're very well coached. So they should have a lot of motivation. So yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? I'm going to say false, but not that happy about false. They could easily go back to back.
No.
They could easily go back to back, but I'll definitely say false. Again, it's one team or the field. Yeah. Definitely picking the field. Had they swept Indiana, maybe I'd feel a bit more confident. I mean, if Halliburton doesn't go down, maybe they weren't even champions. Do you know what I mean?
Don't say that.
It's just true. Yeah. And Indiana choked a game at home too that meant that they could have potentially won in 6. So I will definitely say false. However, I wouldn't at all be surprised if they won again. They definitely have the firepower to do so. And they've got a lot of youth that's only going to, they're on the upwards trajectory. So all the things are there in place for them to go back-to-back. Again, softer East as well. So whoever does get to the finals, the winner will probably be from the West, in my opinion. So it could happen, but I'll say false.
What do you reckon, Woods?
Yes, I'm going to agree with all three of you on false, how difficult it is to go back-to-back. You mentioned that, Stu, and look at the trend over the last however many years, right? It's just been a different champion every year. I think the team whose hat I'm wearing right now have retooled really nicely. And they've brought in, they got Tim Hardaway Jr., they got Cam Johnson. Who else have they got off their bench? They've got back Bruce Brown. Valanciunas. Damn. Okay, hey guys. Yeah. I mean, Denver's looking like someone that's going to be very impressive this year.
If they just give a damn about the regular season, they'd be unbeatable. So.
All right, thanks.
But Valanciunas will give Jokic time to rest, and I think the stats when Jokic goes to the bench. I talk about it on our show all the time. The stats when Jokic goes to the bench are nuts. The team just kind of drops their bundle. If Valanciunas can just improve even slightly, I really like Denver too.
Yeah. Thanks, Nathan. From the Denver Nuggets to your San Antonio Spurs. True or false? The San Antonio Spurs will make the playoffs this season?
I'll say false. I think we're probably still 1 year away. But again, I wouldn't be surprised. I think a lot of it depends on Wemby's improvement. We've got a lot of young guys. I'm really excited about Carter Bryant. He's an excellent defender and he's got great ups. And with a name like Carter and Bryant, why wouldn't you have great ups? Yes.
Is his middle name like Jordan
Nick
or Wilkins or something? Yeah, like.
Yeah. So, look, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, look, if things like this Clippers off-court drama turns sour, then that's the sort of thing that might lift us up a little bit. But I think we're probably still a year away.
Or if Jar loses his mind as well.
That too, yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, so they're the teams, aren't they? So Memphis, LA Lakers, well, both LA teams. Who else? Dallas,
the Mavericks,
Golden State as well. You could put in that category, right?
Golden State, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. A lot of teams will be competing probably 5 through 8. Yeah.
I'm not sure if Nath will like my one for this, but I'm going to say true. They are an absolute lock to make the playoffs this season. That's my opinion with that squad they've got this year. I think they're.
Why wouldn't I like that? Because you'll jinx them.
Maybe it's that jinx thing, right? Maybe you do.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Nath is doing right now.
Maybe.
We've both done the negative.
Yeah. I see what you're
No,
doing.
I'm being honest. Yeah, I still think we're a year away. Because if we were in the East, I'd say, bloody hell, we might be a top 4 seed. Yeah, but in the West, it's tough out there. It is tough out there.
Yeah, they'll make the play-in, but if you look at, obviously, Thunder, Nuggets, Rockets, Timberwolves, Clippers, Lakers, Warriors, Mavs, Grizzlies, and Spurs, 2 of those 10 teams are going to miss out. And look, I can see them getting into a one-off play-in and potentially winning 1, but I'm not sure about 2.
I probably have us ahead of the Grizz, given the Bane trade that we discussed. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
I'm going to be a dreamer. I'm going to say true because I really want him to do well. Just maybe sneak into that 8th seed, get Wemby into some playoff action. It would just be a really nice experience. Like we saw AD get an 8th seed early on in his career and get some playoff run, right? So that kind of thing would be nice.
You want to rock that Castle jersey in the playoffs, right, Woods?
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
I do not want to see the Spurs in round 1, I'm telling you.
Well, Castle's a good point, Robbie. If he takes a really good next step, then that could be a difference maker.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, Dyson Daniels will be the most impactful Australian basketball player in the NBA this season. True or false? Robbie, I'll start with you.
I like what you've done here, Woods. I've had the OKC question, the Spurs question, and then finish off with a Hawks question there. So I'm going to say true, and I think he should have an amazing season on a team that many are projecting to be, very, very good in the East. But I think it will be close between him and Josh Giddey, though. I am expecting Josh Giddey to have probably a career season. Now he's got paid. I think he's got the keys for that Chicago team that maybe doesn't have a lot of other options there, and he might put up some big numbers. But yeah, I'd say Dyson Daniels just a fraction ahead of Josh Giddey for that one.
Yeah, I will say false because of Josh Giddey, but I think the key word here is impactful, isn't it? I mean, Josh Giddey might get some really good stats on a team that doesn't do particularly well, although, again, weaker East, you never know, you could sneak in. So I will say Giddey. He's the only other player to have averaged at least 14 points, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds for the Bulls is Michael Jordan. Pretty good company. I think you're right. I think Giddey will probably have a career year, but I think Daniels will too. So I think both, again, are on an upwards trajectory, definitely.
I am going to say false. And the reason for that is if you look at the opportunities that he got last season on a team where Jalen Johnson missed, 40 games, I think. Yeah. You add in, obviously, Porzingis, you add in Nickeil Alexander-Walker, you add in Luke Kennard. The roster that the Hawks have put together, I think, did you say 50 wins for the Hawks? I'm not sure they'll quite get to 50. I think they'll go close. I have them at about 46, 47. But I think some of those opportunities maybe will kind of be taken away from him. He's still going to be incredible defensively. He's still going to be one of those top defenders. But I think offensively, some of those opportunities will go back to Johnson playing all of those games, Porzingis when he plays, that sort of thing. And, piggybacking off Nathan's point, I think – given how rubbish the Bulls lineup is, Giddey has to basically average probably 15, 16 points a game, 8 rebounds, 8 assists as a minimum, just for them to even be competitive.
And to piggyback off you, I think the Alexander Walker signing will probably take away from some of his minutes too. So I think Daniels might get less court time. It'll be interesting to see.
But he's still going to be incredible. This is the thing. I'm so excited to see what he does now off the back of last season.
All right, I'm gonna have my Hawks hat on. I'm gonna say true to Daniels. I mean, the competition is between those two. I mean, I want to see someone like Josh Green obviously make a bit more of an impact this year for his team. But right, those are the two that we were the two main ones we were talking about, right? So great to see two guys going to be so impactful for both of their teams this season, though, right? Two Australians, so awesome. All right, without a further ado, let's finish off the show with classic packs. Stuart Chalmers,
Try to make it quick because I know we've been going for a little while.
Over to you, man.
We've got the baby blues today, the 1991 Fleer. The great thing about these packs is you can kind of see the first card through there. So I've been able to prepare a clue for the first one already. The first player's namesake is a 6'10" white centre that played for the Adelaide 36ers in 1993.
And I've got an easier clue if you need it.
He's also a centre in the NBA. Very, very good player. I'm testing your old school knowledge of the 36ers.
My clue will give it away, so tell me when you're ready if you haven't had a stab.
I'm thinking Paul Rees from back in that time for Adelaide, but no.
Oh, no, give him the giveaway question.
Well, his nickname is the name of a player we talked about today with the Cairns Taipans. Oh, okay. Maybe it wasn't as easy a clue as I thought.
He was also
David Robinson.
Yes, we do have beautiful card that David Robinson.
You've got to love that see-through card that you used to get back in those packs, right?
Oh, here we go.
The checklist.
Nice.
I hope I don't need this checklist.
Chuck it over your head. Yeah, nice. It's all over him as well. Love it. Yeah.
It is. All right. So you would celebrate this guy's day with your loved one every year.
Darnell Valentine.
Yeah.
It is indeed Cleveland Cavalier Darnell Valentine.
Was he in relation to Denzel Valentine or not? Not quite sure.
I don't believe so.
Yeah.
All right. We have a Phoenix Sun who should be in the Hall of Fame but isn't.
Kevin Johnson.
Has one of the best dunks in NBA history in
Tom
game.
Chambers.
Tom Chambers.
Oh,
Massive dunk he did, yeah.
Is Kevin Johnson in the Hall of Fame, by the way? He's not, eh?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah.
Probably should be.
He should be.
Love Tom Chambers. Love Tom Chambers, man. Yeah.
Yep. Hide your kids.
Sean Kemp. Oh, no, Karl Malone.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. I could not resist.
He deserves it.
Oh, this is the joy of the 1990s ones. All right, Indiana Pacers head coach.
I forgot he coached for them. There you go.
Jim Lynam.
Also coached Orlando.
He coached us too.
And the Spurs, yeah, true.
Jimmy Rogers.
No, Cotton
He was the guy Pop
Fitzsimmons.
replaced. The guy Pop replaced.
You might,
Ford? No, not Ford. No.
You might run up one.
Oh, I know him. I know him. I'm just having a blank right now. Oh.
I mean, all right. The Hornets. What are your Hornets?
There's an AFL player still playing in the prelims with this name.
We're giving you too many clues at once.
It's not Cotton Fitzsimmons, is it? No, that's Phoenix. That's Phoenix.
What's the other name for your Hornets, the basketball team?
Oh yeah, the Bobcats.
Oh,
No,
George Hill.
Oh, Hills.
No,
Oh, yeah.
Bob Hill.
Bob Hill.
Bob Hill, there we go.
Yeah,
That's
right.
The
right.
coach ones are always
Nice.
tricky.
Yeah.
Is he still with us? Normally, Woody thinks they're all deceased.
Bob Hill can't still be with us, right?
I don't know. I'm not. Oh, this is a tough one. All right. Sacramento Kings guard. Wow. How do I even describe this? He's got two names that are both three letters.
Yeah, which is impressive.
Jim Les.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Oh, thank you so much because I had nothing else on that one.
Nice.
Bob Hill is definitely still with us. He's 78 years old.
Shout out Bob Hill. Yeah.
Shout out Bob
Shout
Hill.
out Jim Les too. You'll love that.
This is one of my favorite cards from this set. It's the Iron Man.
I see.
I see. Air conditioning.
Hey, the Virgin.
I love that card. It's just
That's
such
a
a
good one,
nice picture of the dunk.
Jerry Curl, Virgin.
Yep. All right. You got two choices here. Quadruple double.
Hakeem.
Keep going.
Fat
Why did
Lever.
you say two choices?
Because there's only two guys in. Oh, sorry. We've already had David Robinson, so
Yeah,
it can't be him. Who's the
Fat
other
Lever
guy?
get one?
Yeah, Lafayette Lever? No.
It's the guard. It
Alvin
is the
Robertson.
guard.
Alvin?
It is.
Yeah.
It is indeed the Milwaukee Bucks. Alvin Robertson.
How good was
Love
Lafayette
that
Lever?
guy.
Incredible.
Love that guy, Fat Lever.
All right.
Oh, another coach.
Coach of the Washington Bullets, who played for the Bullets as well.
Wes Unseld.
Incredible outlet passer.
Ooh,
One of the best.
touchdown.
What a big unit he was. Look at
Yep,
him.
he was.
Rest in peace to him, I believe.
Yep, definitely. Recently.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's your clue for the next one.
Okay.
Who used to do that? It's a guy.
Action.
He used to play. He played for Indiana when he
For,
did
for,
that.
for our audio listeners, give us an audio clip.
Sorry, yeah. So I'm making an L shape because this guy, he's a point guard that played with the Knicks and then Indiana, and he used to do that when he'd back down guys and score on them.
And used to give me the shits in commentary. I got to be honest.
Yeah, true.
Greg Anthony?
No, coached.
No, Greg Anthony didn't play Indiana.
With Van Gundy as well.
Oh, Mark Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
He is action, Mark Jackson.
God bless you as he signs his cards. I've got a signed card that says
Obviously,
God
the
bless you.
Menendez brothers are not in the back of that card, are they? Did you
not
check?
that
They're not on the back of that card, are
not
they? Yeah. No Menendez brothers. Okay.
All right, who's the guy that made the pass to Jordan for the famous up and under against the Lakers?
John Paxson?
No, he's one of their forwards.
I wouldn't have got that.
It would have been Stacey.
What number?
King, maybe?
The number would give it away. He played for your Hawks as well, actually.
Tony Kukoc.
You wouldn't want to drive your car off one, that's for sure.
Oh, Cliff Livingston.
Cliff Livingston.
Also, a product of
Wichita State.
Yeah, with Xavier McDaniel and
Rashad Kelly.
Yeah.
Now, okay, no, don't say anything. This bloke used to be, at one point, if I'm not mistaken, the highest paid player in the league, surprisingly. And you've mentioned his name.
Product of Wichita State, funnily enough.
Right, so we've got Cliff Livingston, Xavier McDaniel. Who else?
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
The X-Men. Yeah.
You can't write that.
Three coaches in a pack.
Wow.
And look, one of the winningest coaches of all time. If I tell you the team, it's going to give it
Don
away.
Nelson.
No.
Legend point guard for the Bulls.
Oh yeah, we're talking about Lenny Wilkins, baby.
No, we're not. No? We're not. We're talking.
What
it's a
team
white
did you
coach.
say he was a point guard for?
The Bulls.
He played for the Bulls. In his playing days.
Jerry Sloan.
Jerry Sloan. The one and only.
And
Jerry
he stayed
Sloan.
in Salt Lake City his whole career.
Rest
right?
in peace. Yeah.
So yeah, pretty some
Interesting
decent
bloke
players.
right here too. Yeah.
Some really good players in that pack. So Xavier McDaniel, Mark Jackson, Alvin Robertson, David Robinson, Karl Malone, Tom Chambers. That's a pretty good pack.
And
That is solid. And a
good
check.
coaches too.
you don't love getting three coaches, but combined wins would be up there.
Be right up there.
Yeah.
True.
And a
that's fun.
checklist. So there you go.
Well done, Stu. Appreciate that.
Thanks,
I'll take the
Stu.
Jim last one. I'm pleased with that. I got that one.
Incredible.
That was a great get. You got that real quick.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys. Really appreciate it. Robbie, I'll throw over to you for the outro very shortly. But before that, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the basketball blokes. So I know we got the sport blokes on the podcast today, but I want to give a big shout out to the basketball blokes who recorded their final podcast this week. They've obviously got a podcast which covers fantasy basketball, and they built a community over the last 7 years. One I'm a part of. The basketball popular culture in Australia it's like a movement now, right, guys? We all keep in touch. All the podcasters, people amongst this this community keep in touch. So what they've done is put a spotlight on fantasy NBL, and that's driven more people to watch the game. It's been exciting. People who didn't previously watch the game, who might have played Supercoach for NRL or AFL or cricket, have decided to come and play Supercoach, and that's driven more people to watching the game. And that's been great for the sport in this country. So I just want to say thanks for your service and everything you've done for the game over the last 7 years, Benny, Boydie, and Banksy. Right? Any thoughts there, Robbie?
Well said, Woods. Look, people can go back and listen to the episode. We had the boys on there. It was quite a while ago now, wasn't it? And look, I don't think we need to go too much into the whole what they've done. It's very disappointing that they're not doing the traditional Supercoach and the format they're going to. But shout out to the boys. We love their content. We know they're all busy with their lives and their families. We just want to thank them and wish them all the best. I'm sure we'll touch paths again.
Okay.
Amen.
Awesome.
And contrary to popular belief, we didn't steal their name. Originally, it started with three of us, and the one that came up with the name was the one that didn't stay on board, funnily enough, and he's not a big basketball fan, so he definitely didn't pitch a name. But in all seriousness, shout out to those guys. I can't believe it's 7 years. That's crazy. Tremendous work, and no doubt we'll hear their voices again in different capacities, and we look forward to that.
Absolutely.
Thanks for everything, guys. All right, Robbie, do you want to take us out?
All right. Well, look, really want to thank everyone for tuning in again. Please make sure you subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. We can be followed on X at Throwback Hoops. Woods will get some of those cards and jerseys up. So,
Stewie's card.
amazing.
Yeah.
LeBron, my new little Kristian Doolittle one there. So look for those to come out next week. Instagram, throwback.hoops, and our email address, throwbackhoopspodcast@gmail.com. Also Patreon, if you want to pledge a couple of dollars to help with the production and editing and all those things associated with the podcast. But yeah, just want to say before you continue, Woods, it's been really fun doing it tonight. Really appreciate the boys giving up their time. Always so fun. Just to, we chat with each other every day, don't we, on our group chat? So it just feels like we're just doing that, but just with the cameras on today. And I know how much we're all looking forward to, NBA and NBL to start soon. And it's been a pleasure having you on again, boys.
It's always good chopping it up with you boys. It's great fun. We could see you for hours, honestly.
Yeah, absolute pleasure. Had a lot of fun, and we haven't been podcasting a lot lately. I think we've done about 3 in 2 months or something, but we're definitely looking forward to ramping up. We definitely have a lot more to say when basketball season's on. So we're hoping to maybe not release every week together. I might do a few on my own. We might get to a point where we're releasing weekly. There might be some with me on my own or with Stewie. But check out the Sport Blokes on all reputable and unreputable podcasts. And I've another thing, boys, you'll be interested in. I've dusted off the old VHS tapes. I've started ripping old games. So I'd hope to have stuff up on YouTube. I haven't got there yet because it's been the month from hell at work, if I'm honest with you. But keep an eye out for the Sport Blokes on YouTube too soon enough, because I'll be uploading some old games, both NBA and NBL, and a bit of NBA action stuff too.
Hey, Nath, have you got that game when Matthew Earp hit that full court shot for the Wildcats? You remember that amazing shot?
I wish. He actually hit 2, if you don't recall. He hit 2 threes on the buzzer. One was about 3/4 court. Another was like maybe a corner 3 or something. It was just a 3.
Oh, hero.
He missed the shot. He was at the game and he missed it because he went down to get was it a Sherby or a Minty?
It was, was that the Matt Earp shot though? Or was that something else?
Oh, that was the Vlahoff shot.
That was the Vlahoff shot. Yeah, that was the Vlahoff shot against Illawarra.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Hijack your exit here.
So, Nate, why don't you just tell the audience where they can follow you on X and wherever else?
At Sport Blokes on, we like to call it
Twitter. We still call it Twitter.
We still call it Twitter, at Sport Blokes. But just search for the Sport Blokes on any podcast platform. And look, we might look to do more video stuff and YouTube stuff in the future. Yep. We're just kind of getting out of some pretty rough work patches. But in the next couple of months, we hope to ramp up our production as well. So we'd love it if anyone comes on board. Thanks to seeing us with you guys. So we appreciate the opportunity to chat with you guys too. And as you say, we'll chat again on Messenger soon. But we'll look forward to the whole season of episodes you guys will be producing.
Thanks, Nate, Stewie, and as echoing Robbie's thought, it's a pleasure to always spend time with you guys on and off the camera, but really appreciate you taking the time and the research you did to come on the show today, and it was awesome content we got through. So any final thoughts, Robbie?
No, look, bring on that first game tomorrow. Set your super coach team. Even though we're not loving the format, get into it and do all those sort of things. But yeah, can't wait to kick it with these guys again. And yeah, enjoy the season, fellas. Go the Wildcats.
Go Wildcats.
And from Robbie, myself, Nathan, and Stuart, and the whole family at TBH. Until next week, it's peace out.
Much love, guys.